Now, the Irish coastline is littered with shipwrecks, and many of these wrecks are undiscovered, and our next guest aims to unfreeze this history.
Please welcome founder of the Fastnet Maritime Heritage Museum, John Kearney, to the show. John, thank you so much for joining us today. Such a fascinating subject. I mean, talking about shipwrecks in a while, but first of all, in order to see them, you have to be a diver. How did you get into that in the first place?
Growing up along the coastline of West Cork, we have it there naturally. Since I was a young guy off the coast, we have so much life. We have so much shipwrecks there. And I started my career with the Irish Naval Service and developed as a naval diver. And we got to experience some massive parts of Ireland, and it was incredible. And I was only saying, if we could bottle it and bring it and show everyone what we have underwater, and not everyone gets the opportunity to go underwater and have a go at diving or whatever, but a lot of people wouldn't do it. But can we bottle it and bring it up to show everyone?
Yeah, okay, because like you said, people travel the world to see life, and it's just off the coast.
We see it every day. It's a part of our life, Dara. It's quite normal, and 100% that's Martin.
Okay, how many shipwrecks are off the Irish coast?
For what we know, in fairness to the Irish government, for the last 10 or 15 years, they've gone along and they've surveyed all the coast of Ireland. And when they surveyed the seabed through Infomar, they've discovered objects that are down there. So, conservatively, there must be at least 2,000 shipwrecks around the Irish coast.
Wow.
And yet we now know where they are.
Wow, look at that.
But we don't know what is there. 95% of the shipwrecks, we know there's something there, but we don't know what that is.
What are the more famous ones that are around the coast?
Obviously, you have the Lusitania, which everyone would know from on the wars. That's off the coast of Kinsale. But further afield, obviously we've
Armada ones and stuff like that?
It is Armada ones off the Sligo coast, and also one that people don't realise that there is everyone knows the Titanic.
Yeah.
But there was a vessel that rescued all the people off the Titanic, was called the Carpathia. Yeah. And that sunk 100 miles south of Baltimore in West Cork.
Really?
Yeah, there was a famous American author called Clive Cussler, went away and bought that 25 or 30 years ago. And we went out and we explored and we found that with him in the year 2000. So that's of interest.
The Carpathia?
Carpathia it's called, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't sunk by...
It was sunk by a torpedo just south of Ireland that time, in World War II.
Yeah. We just saw a clip there, and I've often wondered about that when you do go underwater, about the technical challenges of going in a submersible, because I would have thought, because the seas are so rough, particularly the Atlantic, that visibility would be quite poor. But can it have obviously ups and downs? Yeah,
what we have to perform, it's much more challenging to dive in a submersible in Ireland, without question. Visibility can be very good off the northwest coast, but the south coast can be very poor sometimes, less than a couple of metres. And remember, we're in darkness when you go down with depth, and you have this big wreckage in front of you, and we have to try and piece together what this is, so we're going in close to it. With the submersible. So we have to be very strict around our operational stuff for safety, because entanglement is our biggest fear of netting and stuff like that. Yeah. And especially if you can't see it, it's very hard to pick it up in the sonar.
Oh, that's just amazing.
We're just looking at these images. It's just fascinating. You have two submersibles, one bigger than the other. So how many can it carry? Well, we see there that one can carry two.
Yes, I suppose the biggest thing, Martin, is that the two-person one is fine for a shorter journey, and it goes to 100 metres. But the three-person one is better, because, truthfully, if I'm down 6 hours,
6 hours,
I can be down up to 6 hours with a colleague. I like to stretch my legs, and when we're concentrating so much, after 90 minutes, we have to go off the side of the shipwreck and land in the seabed, and we have our lunch. So we get out our sandwich, we have like anything else, and sometimes I go for a power nap, but if every 10 minutes, if I don't press the button every 10 minutes, it sends the whole thing to the surface. There's so much safety devices, and they're very, very safe.
Do you get the bends when you go back up?
No, no, 1 atmospheric pressure. I can go in my shorts, I go down, I can come back up within 3 or 4 minutes, if we have to, very quickly. But we come up slowly. But it makes no difference, because it's 1 atmospheric, the same as the surface.
OK. There's a fascinating story that we read about you going, was it off the north or northwest coast, and you were looking for one particular shipwreck, and then you came across something that was sunk. I think it was 1940.
Yes.
Even though it had an Irish flag painted on the side of it.
That's correct. We last year we were up with a lot of my team are volunteers, and they come from all walks of life and fantastic experts. So one of my colleagues from the Naval Diving Service, he's writing a book on a fishing vessel off the northwest coast. So he says, look, it's missing for 30 years. We haven't found it, but there's a particular target I'd like you to look at. And I said, OK, we'll go up. So the day I remember going in, we popped down on this, and the day in question, there was dolphins surrounding the sub as we were going underwater. And we got to the bottom in a way. It wasn't what we were looking for. But then we said, what is it? So we gathered as much information and videoed the whole thing. We came back to the surface, made lots of calls, and we found it was a fishing vessel called the Lucas. Went down in 1940. That left Rings End here in Dublin with a crew of 11, and the youngest was younger than my children. They were kids. They went up to the northwest coast 1940 at the beginning of World War II. And went fishing, and they were all warned, Irish boats, that make sure you paint the tricolour on the side to identify yourself differently, that we're independent and neutral. But in this case, a German submarine popped up northwest of Tory. The Irish boat was there, plus 4 other fishing boats from the UK. So what did the Irish boat do? They went straight between the English boats and the submarine. So the submarine captain was so cross, he got the deck on it and he killed all of them. And then he rammed it, which confirmed us from what we've seen it. So the bravery of what they did, they saved all the 4 other fishing vessels that got away, but they gave their lives for this. And that piece of history was frozen until we uncovered that again. It was all forgot about. So what we're doing as part of the Maritime Museum here in Dublin is connecting with the people that are still alive, that are connected with the people that left Rings End.
When I hear stories like that, it's so tragic, because I always think of the people who were on these vessels, who have been submerged, and trying to, I suppose, get any closure for families must be extremely difficult. You must get people in touch with you all the time about things like this.
Exactly. We're working on the Aer Lingus plane that went off at the southeast coast of Ireland as well, which is important.
Tusker Rock, is it?
The Tusker Rock Aer Lingus plane. And what was really interesting is that the person that contacted me, was asking, would we have a look? And I said, yes, because I was never seen. And I says, what you probably didn't realise, that I actually had relations on it as well. Do you know what I mean? So, which is...
Right.
So like what I said, the 2,000 shipwrecks are there. There's 2,000 stories that are untold. And that's our history. That's off our coast.
At least 2,000 stories, yeah.
So if we can bring some of them up to show everyone the capacity, and we do that with the technology we have. And look, it's great that Ireland has this technology now that we didn't have before. And as I said, we go out every year and we do 10 or 15 of these and bring back the stories for everyone to see.
Now, you're planning a maritime museum in Cork City, which is an absolutely fascinating and wonderful idea. Tell us about that.
What we're looking at doing is to set up a museum. It'll take 3 or 4 years, and the cost factors are quite high. But we have a vessel that is quite suitable, and we're looking at fitting out the vessel with a digitalised version of all what we have on board. And we have a couple of our older submarines as well that we'll bring on as part of this. So when people come on, they'll get the experience, the digitalised experience of the shipwrecks, plus they can jump into one of the subs that we have and get that photo up, which is... A lot of
the
people
Instagram
won't go... Exactly. They won't go underwater, but they'll have it on the deck. So that's our objective in 2026, is to get that up and running and to get all the approval to make that happen. If
you want to go underwater, how do you get into your line of business now?
Look, I welcome... just contact us. Do you know what I mean? imcatsub.ie. If just reach out to us, because there's a massive opening in the industry for people to get involved in that. And I just think we're an island nation. We have so much to offer off our coast. We're not showing a fraction of what we have.
And you only go down 300 metres, for those who might have any kind of fear. It's only 300 metres.
Yeah, only 300 metres.
And there's nothing creaks. Do you know, there's no creaking inside it.
To be safe as houses.
The important thing to know is the pilot, John, he wants to get home.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than anybody else, he wants to get home.
Oh, this is absolutely fascinating.
Thank
you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having us.